What's up, YouTube? You checking out the Frequent Flyer, and this is my quick review of the Emax BabyHawk, and this is it right here. And those of you who already watch my videos and have seen my videos of me flying this thing, you already know I like this thing a whole lot. This is an awesome little micro brushless quadcopter. For some reason, I've looked at other reviewers and they've pretty much dismissed this as a okay flyer. I think this thing is awesome. It's one of the best micro brushless quadcopters that I've seen, that I've had the pleasure of flying. This thing flies really well. Now, when I first got this thing, I was skeptical about it because it seemed to be getting a lot of vibration in the flights and the hovers and everything. It was just vibrating, making a weird noise, and it wasn't very stable. So I didn't even realize that the top plate here is cracked a little. I actually put some hot glue on it to try to stop it from vibrating, but that contributed to some of the vibration. But also it was the props. Now these props aren't very well balanced. So what I did was they give you 4 extra props, and I kind of swapped them all out to try to find which ones were more balanced than the others, and I found a good combination of them, and now this thing flies awesome. There's still a shake in it, a vibration. I don't know what it's coming from. Maybe these props are just not well balanced, but these props do have a lot of punch. It give it a lot of punch. They're a little larger than 2-inch props. They're I think they're maybe 2 1/4, because these are longer than the other props that I'm used to on my brushless micros. Let's see, do I have anything close by? Well, here's my Cortex RC Tiny 90 here, and I removed the rings from it. It doesn't have the prop protectors on it now, but check it out. These Emax props are a little bit longer. So just a quarter of it, look like a quarter of an inch longer, and these are 1945, I think, something like that. But these props here, they're just really awesome. They give a lot of punch, pushing a lot of air down, I'm guessing, with these props, and it just makes this thing a really nice flyer. It flies on 2S. This is a 2S copter. Is what they recommend is 2S, but I've tried 3S on this and it works really well. It does have 6 amp ESCs. I figured that they should do well with 3S batteries, and it does do well. It doesn't come down too hot or anything like that. They just come down warm from nice punch outs and stuff like that on a 3S battery. I actually was using a Nanotech 450 milliamp hour battery that I don't seem to have close by, so I was going to show you guys that, but you guys should know what a Nanotech 450 milliamp hour 3S battery looks like. It's pretty popular. A lot of people get it, but that battery plays really nice with this thing. So extremely fast punch out, strong punch out with that battery. Even with 2S, this thing is a really nice flyer. I've been using the 700 milliamp hour batteries from the MJX X600 because that's all I really have that has this JST connector on it. So it just flies really nice with that too. I think that's a perfect size battery for it too, because you get nice long flights with it, and it still doesn't seem like it loses any punch or anything. Well, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe if I put a lighter 2S battery on it, it'll have even more punch. But I've been satisfied with it with the 700 milliamp hour batteries. Now this thing has a tiny femto flight controller on it, and so it's a lot of soldering if you want to try to take this thing apart and swap the motors out or anything like that. This board is very tiny, so be aware of that. This board is really hard to solder if you're not used to soldering. That's it right there. Now in the front, there's 3 pins on the front of the board where you can hook your receiver up to, and the first pin here is the ground, and the middle pin is 5 volts. So if you have DSM, you can't hook them direct. You can't hook your satellite directly to the front of this board here on this middle pin, because that's 5 volts, and DSM satellites need 3.3 volts. So you're going to have to go to the back of the board. It's actually one of the bootloader pads that you have to short out to get it in bootloader mode. The second pad is 3.3 volts. So you're going to go back there for your voltage. And then the signal wire goes right here on this last pin on the outer. There's 3 of them. So I put some hot glue over mine so you really can't see it, but those 3 pins are right here where this hot glue is covering it at. And right here in the back is where I soldered my power lead to the receiver there. This is my DSM-X satellite here. And I put some hot glue on that too down there to make sure that power connection doesn't come loose or anything. And this was the best place that I thought I can put my DSM satellite, but other people are laying it down. I think they're going direct soldering though, because I don't see how they can lay that down and still have this socket here on mine. So I like to leave the socket on to remove them and swap them around and stuff like that. Now, one of my gripes with this, one thing that I don't like about this is the camera. The camera looks really bad outside compared to my Tiny Whoop cameras and the Tiny 6 and Tiny 7. It looks like it's out of focus. And I've tried to focus it and all, and it is what it is. It doesn't change or anything. Now indoors, this camera looks like it's a really nice camera, so I'm guessing that it just doesn't handle the light of the sun very well. Footage that I've gotten from this thing doing FPV, it all looks blurry to me. It looks washed out a little too. So I'm not really happy with this camera, but it is a very powerful camera. You can go from 25 milliwatts to 50 milliwatts to 200 milliwatts with this thing. So you can select different power outputs. So you can fly this thing pretty far and still not lose reception. But I just think that the picture quality sucks. So these props are also proprietary. As you can see, the screws are spaced out a little more than what we're used to. Let me see. Here's my Cortex Tiny 90 again. As you can see, the screws are very close together compared to these screws that are on this prop here. So they do have proprietary props. You can't just use any prop with this unless the mounting hole in the middle is very tight. I have forced some props on it, and the mounting hole in the middle was pretty tight, but they weren't as long as these, so it didn't give it as much lift. So these seem to be the best props for this thing as of now. The 5-bladed props don't really fit on it tight, so I don't know how those will do. Those would probably give it comparable lift to these or whatnot, but the mounting hole in the middle is not as tight, so can't really use that. Battery strap is okay on this. I like the battery strap. It's definitely better than the battery straps that I've been using for the Cortex Tiny 90. I wish it had a battery strap as good as this one. So it has prop guards that come installed on it, but I removed them, and it has a bag of screws. You have to remember that there's different size screws in here. There's some long ones and there's some shorter ones, and the shorter ones you're going to use if you remove the prop guards. The longer ones you use if you want to fly it with the prop guards on it. And if you use the longer screws without the prop guards, then you'll go up into the motor and mess something up. So don't do that. And it comes with this instructions manual. It's part English, part Chinese. One side is Chinese and you flip it over and you got the English there, but it doesn't tell you how to install the receiver. It tells you the frequency chart and all of that stuff on there. It has specifications and everything on it, and it basically shows you how to disassemble it, and that's it. So the box is pretty nice too. The box is a nice quality box, so you can actually use this as a storage box. It does have cut out sponge in the inside. It is possible to store this thing in the box, and it's a pretty nice box. So that's it, the Emax BabyHawk. Pretty awesome little flyer. This is actually my favorite brushless micro to fly. Thanks for watching.